For stage one, I actually there's a pretty cool topic that came up, and it's regarding the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Woo! They're back.
I know, man.
Again.
Yeah,
Seriously, when was the last one? Like 4 or 5 years ago that they did it?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, and that one looked cool. So I'm interested.
The movie?
Yeah,
that one's tight, man. The movie was dope.
I wasn't able to see it, but they had plans for that movie, right? And for some reason they just scrap everything.
I want to know table the movie thing. What's happening? I don't know actually what's happening with Power Rangers yet. What?
Oh no! So there's going to be a reboot going on, and a new director. Well, not new director, but he has Jonathan Entwistle. I don't know if you guys heard of him. He's going to be taking the role right now of that movie.
Yeah, so I believe it's going to be another movie, but it's not a sequel from the other one that came out.
Correct. Yep, that's what's going on.
This is another reboot, brand new. And I was discussing with Manny before. That guy, Jonathan Entwistle, is the name.
Yeah,
he's the one that made. I was discussing this with Manny. He's the one that made two series on Netflix. One of them is The End of the Fucking World, and the other one is I'm Not Okay With This. I believe they're a little bit obscure series, but pretty much brand new. If you haven't watched those series are great. Sadly, they're short. Sadly, they've been canceled already. It's like one of the series is 2 seasons, the other one is just 1 season. But they're legit. Like I watched those series and I was hooked from episode 1. But yeah, they're not that famous. They're not that big. For some reason, they didn't do well. But to be honest with you, man, the plot was good. The story was interesting. It was well thought. I mean, if it's coming from this guy, I'm interested in whatever he's doing with the Power Rangers.
Yeah, the show was good, man.
I think both of those names have done well. I mean, they're getting clout and stuff because I know both those names, and Brittany watched I'm Not Okay With This and said it was really good.
So my concern is because the critics gave them a good score and the audience as well, but for some reason Netflix canceled those shows. So what happened? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's along the lines of like pretty much like part of what I was going through, like because I ended up watching 2 of those episodes, like 2 of the episodes of the End of the Fucking World.
Yeah. And
it was literally about that time when like a bunch of other people, like my cousins and like other friends, and then like YouTube motherfuckers saying, "Hey, you gotta watch this show, bro. Like this show's dope." And then, "Oh, look, I found this one." Like so that every time I would watch something, that show gets dragged behind. And I'm like, well, I mean, that shit's way too deep in the woodwork, so I gotta just catch up on these and then go back on that later. I think that might have been what it was, dude.
New shows every day, endless content.
But I mean, I believe those shows had a lot of talent involved. So I'm looking forward to whatever they're doing. If this is the same person that was like driving those shows and it's gonna transfer all that talent to the new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I'm down.
Are there any details? Do you know if like is it like following Jason more serious, or is it just following the original 5?
I think it's gonna be well. Here's the thing, though. It's kind of funny because when they were in production of the most recent one that came out, supposedly Entwistle was actually supposed to direct a live action Power Rangers movie with Paramount, but it wasn't gonna be connected to the one that they just showed. It was gonna be something completely different, and it was gonna be in regards of those like that Power Ranger team traveling back to like the 90s and doing maybe like a crossover with like the throwback cats, but I guess they ended up scrapping that and going with whatever they were doing. They ended up shelving that project, and we haven't heard anything then until like now when this came up at that point. So I think it's gonna be a new plot.
If there's a show that screams multiverse, it's Power Rangers.
Yeah,
like there's so many iterations of Power Rangers, so many that it's just bound to happen. I don't know if they're gonna do it like a massive scale. I don't know if the budget exists. I don't know if the executive actually believe in a project of this magnitude. But if they're planning on something like that, I mean, Power Rangers is legit a perfect setting for multiverse action. I mean, again, I don't know. Anybody's doing multiverse now. Why not Power Rangers?
They won't do it though, because this one's actually gonna be. They called it it's gonna be like a shared content pretty much. So The only other Power Rangers movie that did a shared content was Power Rangers Turbo, how they had the movie and then they had the TV show follow right after that. That's pretty much what is going to go on with this reboot. So they're going to do a new Power Rangers reboot. And not only is Jonathan Entwistle going to be behind the scenes on the movie, but he's actually going to be pretty much like is creative. Like he's going to be like the creative architect for both the TV and the movie series at that point too. So it's going to be like one big ass story, but it's going to start with the movie and then go on with the TV series after that. And then if they end up doing another like silver screen sequel, then I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a franchise thing for sure, dude.
That's a bummer, man. The other movie leaves off on a cliff like there's going to be a sequel, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was obviously because of for sure, man. I mean, they made budget, but it was like by not that much, dude. I think it was like 102 million that it cost them to do this movie, and then they raked in like 142 or something like that. So it was
sadly, man,
pretty low.
I don't know if the support was not there. I'm a fan of the Power Rangers, and I didn't go to see that movie for some reason. I don't know what happened, but I didn't went. I
Redboxed it, so you're not alone. I had to get it from Redbox.
So I kind of skipped it.
One I went to go to the theaters and see that sucker, man. Shoot, that's great. Yeah. I even bought the DVD, the tin box. I even got that. I let you borrow, Will.
To this date, I haven't seen that movie. Like I seen the trailers and it looks amazing, but I haven't sat down to watch it. And I don't believe it was that bad according to reviews and according to people that saw it. But for some reason, it didn't get the support of the public, which concerns me a lot, man. Like Power Rangers was really well known in the 90s. Like that was the thing of the 90s.
Yeah, I remember, you know what? I don't know when it was coming out to theaters. I remember seeing the trailers and stuff and thinking, "Oh, that's probably gonna suck. I'm not gonna waste my time on it." And then at some point, being like, "Oh, it's on Redbox. I can't. Redbox is $1. Like I'll try that." And then I'm like, "Oh shit, this is actually pretty cool."
Yeah, that was my take when I saw posters. What got me was that like what really didn't get like I didn't like about it was the suits, because I was like it looks alienish, but I mean it's their interpretation, but it kind of grew on to me later on when I just saw like the posters. But then when they showed the trailer, like the first trailer, I was like, damn, you know what, this like is gonna look badass, dude. Like I think this is gonna be one of those movies that I have to go see.
But
like,
that was a legit reboot, right? Like they were the same characters, name and everything, but
it's the same guys, the same kids, same kids.
I don't know. I think I'm craving more of a not so much of a reboot, but probably a second generation. That's what I would like out of this. Like I would like maybe Tommy being the one who's passing the torch to this new group of kids, and maybe he training them like Cobra Kai style of type of series. That's what I would like to see, to be honest with you.
You know what's weird, and I've always wondered about this. I wonder what it is about Mighty Morphin that, I mean, because I feel like after Mighty Morphin, I maybe watched one series and then kind of fell off Power Rangers. But they've done like 11 and they're still going. They're on like Turbo Space or whatever. And there's always new kids and they always keep going. But Will's right. I mean, I'd love to see a new generation of Rangers like Tommy or Jason passing it on. But that's happened like 15 times and just nobody watches them.
That's true. You know? I don't know. Maybe decide what's gonna be canon and maybe what to retcon. Probably, I just want to see like a follow-up, probably a direct follow-up to the 90s series. That would be great. Like, forget about everything that happened in between, and let's just say that when that series ended, something happened, and these new kids are gonna be recruited because X or Y or Z, and just made a story between the lines. That's what I would like to see. But again, I mean, who knows? There's so much story.
They should have done that with the previous movie that just launched. That would have been a good stepping stone right there.
I believe those actors still have the potential to bring some of the old public back. Probably by linking that generation with the new one, we'll have a better response from the audience. But who knows, man? I believe Power Rangers can be a great success. I believe it's just that they haven't cracked the code yet on how to make it right. And to be honest, not even I know how to do that right. It's interesting that this movie flopped. To me, it was kind of surprising that this movie didn't do that well.
Are they still doing? I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Are they still doing? Because I'm wondering, because I know someone that's into like all of the Power Rangers communities or shows rather, and he's like, well, this series was not received very well, you know, Dino Star or whatever, but everybody in the Power Rangers community likes Firestorm, you know, Power Rangers or whatever. And I know it's filmed like there's a different show in Japan that's made first, and that's where they get all the action scenes, like when they're in the super. Is that still
Rangers?
Yes, thank you.
I don't know if it works that way now, but that was the old way how they got all that footage.
It makes me so curious. So if that's not the case, and they're making cool new shows whenever, like it must be on Disney XD or whatever. Yeah. It makes me. I never ever hear anybody. I mean, outside of super duper niche clubs, talk about Power Rangers, which is strange because if you bring up Power Rangers, everyone in the room will probably have an opinion, or one or two people, but it's going to be about Mighty Morphin, you know?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It is, man. Mighty Morphin was it. Everything else, it's similar, but I don't think it's quite as popular.
Just weird because Mighty Morphin's so old. Like, I mean, I watched that when I was a kid.
But that came out as a banger, though. Like, literally, that sucker came out of dude. I even remember, man. I was in like 4th grade when that sucker came out. I remember coming home after school and I was watching my TV, doing my homework, and next thing you know, I just see the show just came on. I'm like I'm just confused. I'm like, what is this? And I just started watching it, and literally I remember my friend calling me, "Are you seeing this right now, dude? Like, what is this?" I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, but after that, man, I got hooked, dude. And
dude, it was like a teenager sitcom series with superpowers. It was like it was drugs on TV. It was super addictive. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just, you were just so involved into this teenager's life, and on top of that, they were superheroes, and on top of that, they were fighting like huge monsters with giant mechs.
The Megazord, just ooh.
What not to like? And those mechs were dinosaurs.
That was,
like, it had every single checkmark of a teenage boy fantasy. Everything was there, everything, including dinosaurs. It's crazy. It's really good.
That's one of those shows that get you running off you get off the school bus, you be running home, man. Like, you trying to hurry up and get there before it turns on, dude.
They got to reboot VR Troopers next.
No, that was. Oh my God!
It's some
dude. No, I don't know. I saw it. It wasn't awful, but it was just to me, it was just a copy of the Power Rangers, man.
And it absolutely was. And it was cool, but it was cool, yeah.
And there were only 3, and no.
Hey, you guys want to know a fun
it didn't
fact?
work. It didn't work.
Absolutely.
Fun fact about VR Troopers: when they were filming the first live action, like the first Power Rangers movie, in the 90s with the Ooze, you know, the leader on VR Troopers, he was actually supposed to play the White Ranger in that movie, and Jason David Frank was actually supposed to take over that role. But then literally, dude, like, while they were filming, the dude was like, you know what? I want to go back to VR Troopers. So they literally just like switched studios, and dude, that was a big F up on him, man, because that movie ended up blowing up so big, bringing back Jason David Frank, and then this dude's probably sitting there like, damn, man, that could have been me on the silver screen right now too, dude.
I saw in the theaters. That one I did.